All right, welcome back to GDCMMA. As always, Garrett, Fraser, exciting to be back talking some MMA. It's been a few weeks, so there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of great things to talk about, a lot of things happening with GDCMMA. So, big thing though, today, a lot of rumors swirling around that they're close to confirming GSP Johnny Hendricks in September, right here in Toronto, which would be amazing, obviously. But, what do you think of that?
Well, it's not confirmed yet, but all sources would point towards that fight happening, especially with TJ Grant and Henderson being at a different event announced yesterday. It's crazy because GSP literally went Montreal, Toronto, Montreal, Montreal, now back to Toronto.
Right.
And Dana had promised everybody, or said that he wanted to put GSP back in Vegas, which makes sense from a fair standpoint, and no one can really say that that he has an unfair advantage. But now him coming back to Toronto, people are going to be screaming it as loud as possible that he has an unfair advantage because he's the biggest seller. But Toronto is the best market as far as ticket prices are concerned, and they're going to make a killing on that fight. What do you think?
It's almost like they double up the money too, because people outside of Canada want to see GSP lose. And people inside of Canada are usually still his fan. A lot of them want to see him lose, but they're going to sell out the arena. It's going to be a huge moneymaker in Toronto, in Canada. But then people are still going to buy the pay-per-views in the States because they just want to see GSP lose, right? So
I don't know about that. I think most of them want to see him win.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of people don't want to see GSP as the champ anymore.
I think you're way off.
Really?
I think people love Johnny Hendricks, myself included, but GSP is one of the most beloved athletes, and that's the whole point. Put him in a market that it's not fair. Put him in Vegas or somewhere where some other people can see him. That's the argument anyway. But it's the price tag, right?
End of the day, they're thinking about money,
dollars and
cents, over fairness, over anything like that. What's going to make us the most money? And they're probably not wrong to say put that fight in Toronto.
For sure.
But that brings us to an important point.
Yeah, well, we're going to have Johnny Hendricks here in town in a few weeks from now. June 22nd, we're going to have Johnny at the Honest Lawyer in Hamilton, which is on King Street, right downtown. It's 110 King Street. He's going to be signing autographs. There's going to be a whole bunch of other fighters there too. Just keep on the website, GDCMMA.com, and we'll give you all the details.
It's going to be huge. Another important announcement yesterday that you alluded to a minute ago, TJ Grant getting a title shot. It's confirmed, UFC 164 against Benson, Henderson, and that's in August. So that's obviously huge for Canadian fight fans. Maybe a chance to have two Canadian title holders at once, which would be the first time that's ever happened. So.
I think that, the UFC is pretty excited about this too. They've been trying to build Benson Henderson up on Fox, and maybe he's not getting exactly the results they wanted to. I believe they totally support their champion, and they want what's best for him. But I know that TJ Grant might not look like a guy that's going to sell 1 million tickets, and he doesn't have that swag that everyone's going to appeal to. But the Canadian thing is huge. It's huge for the UFC. They know if he were to be the champion, they know already they have an entire country again that's going to back this guy.
True.
And we are crazy MMA fans, right? Yeah. So it's massive. It's massive for business, and it's massive.
And I think fight fans in the States and Brazil, whatever, they like guys who can finish in exciting fashion, and he's shown he can do that in the lightweight division. I always feel like when I'm watching him though that he doesn't seem like a very marketable guy as a champ. Every time I see him talking to Joe Rogan or doing an interview or even walking into the arena, whatever it may be, I'm always looking at him saying, love this guy, but I don't know if he's the most,
That could be it, though. That could be the it thing,
maybe,
right? That he is that guy who totally flew under the radar.
Humble guy.
Yeah, he completely flew under the radar. Nobody saw this coming. Even your top journalists within the game, like a Luke Thomas, even says that he, totally came out of left field for him and still doesn't know how he's done it and doesn't know what to think about him. Yeah. And nobody does, really. But he's the real deal.
He just lit up Gray Maynard and put him away in the first round.
And you watch that. He's huge.
Yeah.
He's massive compared to Gray Maynard.
Yeah.
And which means, he's not going to tower over Benson Henderson, but he's going to have, I would say, a size advantage there. And he's going to go for broke.
Yeah. Strength is always a key advantage point in my mind for Benson Henderson too. So take that away and it makes it really interesting.
Yeah,
for sure.
I can't wait for that.
Right on. Actually, so card coming up this weekend. Some exciting fights on there. I think we'll just go over maybe 3 of them just for time's sake. Eric Silva, Jason High. I think that's a pretty intriguing matchup, an exciting fight. Eric Silva coming off of a loss against John Fitch, but a lot of people were putting that up in the conversation of fight of the year at the time.
For sure.
Jason High, he's on a tear himself. I think he's won 7 straight, has some notable wins. He's a bit of a beast himself. So this is an interesting matchup. How do you think it breaks down?
Well, unfortunately for Jason High, I think this goes to Eric Silva. I think that his fight, or Eric Silva's fight with John Fitch, John Fitch was able to stop him, but I don't think that many other guys can stop him in that division. I think he's the real deal. I think he's going to come back here and take High out, which is unfortunate because I really like High, and he's an exciting fighter. And it's his second time back in the UFC, and he's going to, come in with a loss here, I think.
But he lost his first fight in the UFC too, didn't he?
That's correct.
Yeah, that was a while back. Yeah.
Right, so, it's going to be tough luck for him. I hope he signed a 2-fight deal so he can stick around.
Well, he's earned his way back, so he's going to go for broke too. So I take Silva as well, though. I think he is a future possible champion, definitely a superstar. He's got all the tools. He's incredible. So I'm going to take Silva as well. Interesting matchup. I think it's the 3rd fight on the card, Rafael Cavalcante and Thiago Silva. Both guys have gotten themselves into some trouble with the juice in the past, which makes it, I guess, kind of intriguing in a way. But either way, interesting fight. What do you think happens?
Yeah, the battle of the juice. Well, Cavalcante, unlike Silva, says he didn't do anything, and who really cares? This is going to be a great fight. Yeah. I think they matched them up behind the scenes because of that, but also, their body types are kind of similar. I think it's going to be good. I feel sort of like Thiago's on his way out, and I'm excited that Cavalcante is getting his chance here to come in.
Do you think this punches Thiago's card out of the UFC if he takes a loss in this one?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I think there's nothing else for him to prove if he loses this fight.
He kind of had his chance, you know what I mean? Yeah. But who knows? Maybe he wins in impressive fashion here and is right back in the mix again.
Hopefully for him. I'm picking Cavalcante.
Okay, I'll take Silva then. I'll take Silva, devil's advocate.
Right.
And then we got Big Nog, Fabrizio Verdum. This is an exciting fight. Anytime you get to watch a Nog fight, that's always a good occasion. And Fabrizio Verdum coming off 2 wins in a row. Great wins at that. This is an exciting one. Who do you think wins it?
Well, the thing here, obviously, is that they're both amazing on the ground. Like, if it's just a jiu-jitsu match, imagine that.
Yeah.
That would have been phenomenal. But I think they negate each other, and I think they're not even going to worry about that. So I don't think we're going to see much here on the ground. And with knowing that, Verdum has really, really impressed me lately with his striking the last couple of years. I think he could be a shoo-in for a title shot here in the next year or so.
Yeah.
Depending on what goes down with Alistair and everybody else in the division. But if
am I wrong to say that was his last loss though?
Against Alistair Overeem?
Yeah. Which is an interesting rematch right there too.
Right. It would be exciting. It would be really exciting. But I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with, who you got in this fight?
I take Verdum.
Yeah?
I think he lights him up here.
Okay.
And I love Big Nog, don't get me wrong. He's coming off an impressive armbar win. First round, I think it was. But I think Verdum's going to light him up here. I think he's going to look really, really good. Okay,
well, for argument's sake, and because I am a huge Nog fan, big or small, I'm going to go...
I'll take any Nog.
Yeah, any Nog. Nogueira, I'll take Nogueira here then.
Right on. So yeah, make sure you guys stay tuned though for more details on Johnny Hendricks coming to town in Hamilton, June 22nd at where?
The Honest Lawyer.
And that is on 110 King Street, downtown Hamilton. But there's going to be a lot of details about that on the site. A lot of things to talk about coming up. Big card in Winnipeg coming up. We'll be talking about that soon. So stay tuned. Make sure you keep checking out GDCMMA.com. Garrett, Fraser, we're done.